then go ahead. That's the wise thing to do. Focus your physical senses on an object, a color, sunset, picture. For some that are really super sensitive, this can be extremely helpful. We found that some of our borderline clients, that if they can focus on a color or a visual cue in those moments that they get really dysregulated, can help. Doesn't always, but can. If they can find a way to get separate and just focus their visual perception on something, that can help. Now, there's another skill that's often used in DBT, which I didn't go into here, but it typically works for those who are extremely dysregulated and are accustomed to cutting. Things like holding ice in your hand can work really well. And while that may sound a little, like what was it they used to do where they dunk people underwater? I've forgotten what the name of that was. It really is about getting them to it's such a sharp physical sensation, doesn't hurt them, that it gets them in tune with their physical senses, and it breaks it for a little while. So anything that you can do to expand that moment from the time you feel it until the time you take action is helpful. Take a mini vacation, walk around the block, read a movie, novel. Just don't read a technical book. Read something you get emotionally engaged in. Don't make it worse. Don't get drunk again, in essence. Don't sit there and ruminate on it. Don't sit there and talk about all the bad things that happened. Don't keep going back to that well and taking more and more and more of it. Even though it feels good, and even though everyone's agreeing with you, you're just keeping yourself in that emotional state. So the best thing you can do is don't talk about it, don't obsess about it, and avoid people, places, and things that trigger that emotion for a while. Lay off of it. Get yourself back. And truly, when you start using this language with clients, they get it. You can use it in that direct way. Lay off of it. You're just keeping yourself drunk on it right now. So you have a legitimate feeling. I honor it. You're angry. You're sad. It's valid because you feel it. But what you're doing is hurting yourself by keeping yourself drunk or intoxicated on that emotion. Back away for a while. Allow yourself to sober up. And then let's see what we can do. The self-soothe skill, focus your attention on pleasurable activity that involves at least one of your 5 senses. Some of the suggestions are making a cup of tea or getting a massage, taking a hot bath, pet the cat or dog. Again, every level of this works. I think for me, again, kind of going to the gym fits into the self-soothe. It depends on the level of the client and how dysregulated they get. Teflon mind skill is silly as this one sounds. It works, and it's worked for me too. And there are a variety of ways in which this is called, but I like the term Teflon mind because it really illustrates it. It is, you can walk through this situation and you can put on your shield of Teflon, and no matter what is said, no matter what happens, it doesn't have to stick to you. But the only way that works is if you consciously go through the situation saying, it's not going to stick. I'm going through, this is going to happen, I can be here, and I'm just going to move right through it. Teflon mind. I don't have to pick it up, I can let it hit and fall down, and I don't have to deal with it. And in particularly stressful situations that tend to bring up a lot of negative emotions, that can be extraordinarily helpful. One thing in the moment skill, another one that's been shown to be highly effective, which is, okay, anytime you get dysregulated with a lot of negative emotions, you have, I got to do this, I've got to do that, this thing is going wrong, it's all coming down on me, I've got to take steps right now to get it all done. And you get overwhelmed with it. Backing off of that and literally making a list of things to do and committing to yourself that you're only going to do one thing in the moment. Right now, all I'm going to do is look at the bank statement. That's all I have to do, or open it for that matter. And you do what's doable. And then you do the next thing on the list. And then you do the next thing. Our culture really has taught us to be very unskillful with multitasking emotionally. It doesn't work with our emotions very well. It's very hard to be present, and it particularly contributes to this problem, because one of the things that really can work for us is if I will be here and be present for this, and then move on to the next and the next, helps to reduce the distress.